Well, now I'll tell you what it looked like to me, like somebody swapped the labels in the barn and the woods didn't notice. You got a herd of elk out there in the ragged folds above Catchy Creek, moving like church leaders in a casserole line, heads down, gentle, efficient, and stitched right into the fabric like he'd been born to it is a loud-eared, sure-footed burro. Not skulking at the edges, not begging permission, grazing when they graze, stepping when they step, and sometimes, by the look of it, choosing when they step. If you've ever seen a mismatched socket turn a stubborn boat, you know the feeling. It shouldn't work, and somehow it does. They call the donkey Diesel. He started as a wild thing, detoured through people's fences and apple buckets, then vanished back into the rough, and now he's turned up with elk like he went off to college and came back bilingual. Folks say it's an anomaly. I reckon it's a parable with hooves. See, we like our labels. Domestic over here, halters, grain scoops, names painted on wooden signs. Wild over there, no fence, no roof, everything sharp or hungry. But a label's just a handle, and sometimes the bucket you lifting don't care what you call it. Diesel was born with desert smarts in his bones, how to smell water, how to ration steps, how to look a shiny rock of trouble in the eye and decide whether to kick it or walk around. Then he learned the human half, ropes, pack saddles, the soft voice that comes with a curry comb. After a scare, folks think a mountain lion, he ran like lightning chose his ground, and the country took him back. Now, any donkey worth his salt is half philosopher, half bouncer. Horses, bless 'em, they're sprinters. Flight first, ask questions later. Donkeys do math on danger. They square up. They ask, is this worth a wallop? Elk tilt the other way, watchful, whispery. 100 eyes, a single mind. So you put a fighter's spine in a flight herd's river of nerves, and what you get is a kind of working truce with the world. Diesel carries the willingness to stand. The elk carry the wisdom to move. Together, they widen each other's margin. If you're asking how he got in the door, you start with the hostess. Elk herds, outside the rowdy season, are matriarchal and practical. The membership is a little loose. A cousin peels off, a neighbor drifts in, and if you aren't noisy or rude, well, there's grass enough for two. That matters. Try waltzing into a band of wild horses, and you'll meet a stallion who reads from the book of No. But a lead cow elk is less territorial about strangers so long as the babies eat and the wolves stay confused. Then you ask what he brought to supper. A donkey brings teeth and certainty. Coyotes size up elk like a miser counts nickels. Little, many, mostly not worth the commotion if the wind is wrong. But coyotes know donkeys. They've met those hind feet and those teeth, and they don't like the ending. Lions do their calculus too. The rumor out there, passed from a game warden's boot tracks to the gossip of the brush, is that a cat met Diesel's answer and didn't walk away. I wasn't there, but I can believe it. A donkey in full defense ain't brave. He's convinced. And yet, the part I love best ain't the scrapping. It's the listening. Somewhere along year 3 or 4, you can imagine Diesel learning the herd's subtle signals. The way a whole group goes still without a vote. The way a tail or an ear means not yet, more than it means run. And the elk in turn learning Diesel's quiets and his quarrels. That's not dominance, that's dialogue. Call it sentinel confidence. When the burro's shoulders don't rise, the herd lets his breath fall. When he lifts and points, without panic, just purpose, everybody's feet get to moving. You don't have to be the boss to be the barometer. Somewhere far off that ridge sit two humans with a hole in their hearts, patched with a strange kind of peace. They're the ones who bottle-fed him kindness for a stretch and then spent months wearing out boot leather and hope. Their rescue in the end wasn't a halter and a trailer. It was a blessing and a boundary. He's earned his freedom, they said, words that carry both pride and ache. That's a hard sentence to say clean. We like our stories to end with porches and reunions, but sometimes love is the gate you leave open, and the road you don't drive. Now, the professors have their words for this: fertilization, mutualism, interspecies integration, and those are fine tools. They help you measure the curve of a thing so your hands don't lie to you. But the older tools, the ones my granddaddy used, are questions and silence. You look at a thing that shouldn't be, and then you look again until it is. You notice that what we call instinct in animals and habit in humans are cousins, and that we all keep a little kit of old knowledge tucked behind our ribs for the day the bridge washes out. Diesel's kit had water finding and trouble counting in it. The Elk's kit held maps of the land and the sound a hawk's shadow makes. Zip two kits together and you get safety that neither could afford by themselves. Does it make the wild less wild to say it out loud? I don't think so. If anything, it restores a truer wild, that messy, negotiated wild where lines blur and neighbors barter watch for watch. Most of us would talk that wild means without us, and domestic means with us, like two ends of a clothesline. But maybe it's more like a braid, strands crossing, tugging, lending strength. Diesel didn't fall off the map. He changed grids. I keep coming back to the elk cow at the center, steady as a kitchen table, and that long-eared guardian one step to the side. If he really has taken to raising his tail at a sudden sound, because that's what elk do when the alarm rings, well, that's just icing on the cake. We all speak with our bodies first. You sit up straighter when the phone buzzes after midnight. You breathe easier when the dog's head goes back down. Mimicry is just learning with your bones. So what's the lesson for the likes of us, leaning on a fence post with coffee cooling? Maybe it's this: belonging isn't about matching, it's about mattering. If you can keep watch, or carry a load, or make the circle safer, most herds will find room. And letting go isn't the opposite of love. Sometimes it's its highest proof. The wilderness has a way of drafting the right help if you leave enough edges unpainted. Out beyond the porch light, you can just about hear a far bray answer a far bugle, and the canyon holds both notes like it was built for harmony. Tomorrow, the elk will graze, and the burro will squint at the horizon and pick fly specks off the wind. And somewhere, a lion will change his mind. Back here, my iced tea sweats on the rail, and the old lantern with my initials throws a patient circle on the boards. It's domestic, it's wild, it's both. Always was, always will be. And if that sounds like I'm talking about animals, well, I am. And also, I reckon, about us.